Good evening. Welcome to the 19th Annual Black Engineer of the Year Awards Gala celebration. This morning, the engineering deans of historically black colleges and universities hosted their annual Power Breakfast. There, they saluted the Black Engineer Award winners whose accomplishments were related to education. Join us now as we present those winners who have already received their awards. The following are special recognition winners: Carl Elaine, Gregory Chappelle, Ricardo Duncan, Dr. John Foster, Dr. Juan Gilbert, Commander Roger Isom, Dr. John James Jr., Dr. Raphael Kola, Dr. William Ofosu Ama, Mr. Ron Starling, Miss Deirdre Sumter. The Graduate Student Leadership winners: Chad Sterling and Terry Norton. The GEM Graduate Student Leadership winner: Vernon Newhouse. The GEM Outstanding Young Alumnus winner: Dr. John Dixon. And the Dean's Award winner, Mr. Robert Holmes, Jr. Congratulations to all the morning recipients. Would you please take a moment and turn off your cell phones?
An old man was strolling along a median strip of grass when a lone and weary soldier he found seated on his path. His cold lunch, oddly balanced upon a thin and shivering knee, made it seem that this lone soldier was sunk deep in misery. What scale are the troubles that can make a soldier weep? Asked the aging centenarian whose life was near complete. "Oh, it's no trouble at all, sir," said the soldier with a yell. "Yesterday, I was in Philadelphia just to hear the Liberty Bell, and at the setting of the sun, when only I was standing there, the grand ring of that great bell set a blast upon the air. Then a herald came about and turned to stare direct on me, announcing 6 bells for the soldiers who protect our liberty. Then the bell clanged twice for the airman and the sailor gone to sea, and another clang for the Marine Corps and the Army's infantry. It clanged again for the reserve and the fighting National Guard. But After 5 rings came a pause, as if preparing for its next part. The herald marched in quick step to the beating of a drum, then turned to salute Old Glory as his eyes did bid me come. As we thus stood in salutation, the bell's great clang became a chime, and I looked around to where I'd stood, and a crowd had formed behind. Oh, it was then that freedom's great symbol launched ring 6 upon the air, a deep and soulful sonorous salute to the battlefield soldier still there. Then the same ring affected a brighter tone with a resonance clear and firm, and its sound became a requiem for the soldier who'll never return. Well, the large crowd saluted the courageous soldiers of the air, the land, and sea, then bowed their heads in grateful prayer for soldiers just like me. But I was cool with my tears contained, albeit just below the brim, until I thought how we soldiers are honored just to serve a crowd like them. So ring 6 bells for the soldier's sacrifice, but I, in grateful respect, weep joyous tears, for to us soldiers you give a worthy democracy to protect. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to have with us tonight, representing all of the fighting men and women of the United States Armed Forces everywhere, the Commanding General of the United States Army Materiel Command, General Benjamin Griffith. Will all the military rise to recognize that the ringing of the 6 bells
And now it begins. This 19th celebration of the Black Engineer Awards Conference is co-hosted by Career Communications Group and the USBE and Information Technology magazine. The other co-host is the Lockheed Martin Corporation. Please welcome our corporate co-host, the President and CEO of Lockheed Martin Corporation.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me thank you for joining us for this 19th celebration of the Black Engineer of the Year Awards Conference. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate all of our award winners on your outstanding achievements. And to those winners from Lockheed Martin, allow me to say that I know firsthand how much you give and how hard you work. I'm very proud of you, and I salute your steadfast commitment to excellence. Lockheed Martin has been a co-host of this conference for several years because we share a common purpose: recognizing and celebrating great achievements by people who strive to make our world a better place. We have only to look at the themes of the major sessions this week to see the parallels. The luncheon theme on Friday was cultivating a character for success. At Lockheed Martin, we know character counts, and we nurture the qualities necessary for success. We tell our leaders to engage fully, listen actively, mobilize quickly, seize the initiative, adapt with agility, persevere in the face of adversity, and celebrate victories with those who have earned them. At the Dean's Power Breakfast this morning, the theme was commandeering the courage to change. We call upon the courage of our convictions each day to deliver on the commitments we've made, as we are powered by innovation and guided by integrity in all that we do. And for this gala celebration, the theme is seizing the excellence imperative. At Lockheed Martin, excellence means having highly principled and ethical employees who place a high priority on honesty and integrity, being advocates for diversity, actively fostering an inclusive environment where individual respect and teamwork matter, having disciplined, hard workers who are fearless in their pursuit of excellence, but who also possess humor, humility, and common sense, and developing creative thinkers who can pursue innovation, get to the root of a challenge, and commit themselves to the process of lifelong learning. That's why we're proud to be here to co-host this event with the Career Communications Group. Together, we recognize that the people who will cross this stage tonight are stunning examples of the excellence imperative. Again, I congratulate our winners, welcome one and all to these festivities, and I invite you to enjoy the many stories of achievement you're about to hear. Thank you.
Tonight's gala is sponsored by the Daimler Chrysler Corporation. Please welcome the Executive Director of the Corporate Diversity Office for the Daimler Chrysler Corporation, Miss Monica Emerson.
Good evening. We at Daimler Chrysler want to add our welcome this evening and set the tone for tonight's occasion. I would like to start with a poem penned by the barb of the Harlem Renaissance poet Langston Hughes, who said, "Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams go, life is a barren field frozen with snow." That is, I think, a simple but profound illustration of this evening's theme, seizing the excellence imperative. So to complete this analysis, let me introduce to you someone who personifies the excellence imperative, the Chief Operating Officer of Chrysler Group and Deputy Member of the Daimler Chrysler AG Board of Management, Mr. Tom Lasorda.
Thank you, Monica, and good evening, everyone. I'm delighted to be here again for the 19th annual celebration of excellence. Tonight's event recognizes the tremendous value that engineers bring to the business world. To the optimist, the glass is always half full. To the pessimist, the glass is half empty. But to the engineer, the glass is twice as big as it needs to be. That's why we need engineers, of course. They're always focused on better solutions, and that focus is what drives them. And the people we honor tonight are driven. They understand that the imperative of excellence is to look well beyond the ordinary and to bring the unimaginable into existence. That is precisely what we strive to do every day at Daimler Chrysler. Remain driven to find better solutions and seize excellence. I'm proud that Daimler Chrysler remains the exclusive sponsor in support of this outstanding awards ceremony. It highlights the accomplishments and the stellar contributions that these award winners have made to their companies, their families, and their communities. We're proud to join in saluting all the extraordinary women and men whose accomplishments are being recognized here tonight. Each one's path to success has been different. Some have come from humble beginnings. Others have overcome great adversities. But one thing they all have in common is a passion for finding a better solution and achieving excellence in everything they do. Different paths lead to different perspectives. One thing that I've discovered is bringing together these perspectives results in a richer and more robust solution. This is why we value diversity in our workforce and our enterprise and view it as one of the greatest strengths. On behalf of the entire Daimler Chrysler family, we thank each of you for being a part of this award ceremony. Please join with me in honoring tonight's award recipients. Listen to these stories and hear the ring of excellence in every tale. Thank you very much.
I had the strangest dream last night that I was standing in this light on stage before a throng of black engineers and some executives quite well named, looking quite comfortable wearing their fame, were praising their achievements with applause and cheers. Then all around me were these mutants who someone said were genius students, quite remarkably accomplished in their own right. Yet there sat I, rather underachieving, and thus surrounded started grieving, feeling worse with every tale of their high flight. My own credentials, once thought sensational, made mediocre seem motivational. My performance evals often christened me sublime. Now I can't shake this awful nagging and desperate feeling that I've been lagging in a career that's leaving me further and further behind. In my name, I have no patents, no published works, no files to fatten. There simply is no public good from my having been. My degrees and titles are as common as air. My ambition is sunk. I provoke despair, and I have no earthly notion what it takes to win. A sadness came to engulf my mind in my self-imposed and swift decline, when gradually a thought to me occurred. To be the best in my dreams I'd yearned, yet I, in fact, have never learned how I'm supposed to redeem that dream deferred. So there stood I, dispassionate, pondering my quickening fate, still downward thundering, when to my eyes there appeared a spirit in silver. She pointed, dancing towards a mass of passionate achievers primed to pass along a promenade of lights with excellence filter. This spirit seemed to read my mind as she beckoned for me to follow behind this proud and pulsing procession of pure confidence. I followed along as best I could, not daring get closer than I should, when spirit stopped sudden as she commenced. She jostled me brusquely to the side, then spirit commanded that I should hide and study the coming pageant with grave sincerity. Then bowing politely before departing and assuring the gala was timely starting, she loudly whispered, "Seize the excellence imperative."
Please welcome the Deputy Vice President for Technical Excellence at the Boeing Company and champion of the BEYA Alumni Association, Ms. Joan Robinson Berry.
Good evening. The word alumnus, in its original sense, means a place for nurturing. The alumni are those people who return to the place for their nurturing and their refueling. That's so important, because although the Bea Alumni Association is brand new in its second year, we exist because so many of you come back here time and time again to replenish your professional spirit. This association exists for the continued professional development of our members, to provide professional networks and mentors for our youngest members, to stimulate and celebrate the consciousness of our corporate partners to build a vibrant, diverse workforce, top to bottom, and to mount an energetic campaign to steer our children into lifelong study of science, technology, engineering, and math, the STEM disciplines. The Alumni Award is likewise new, but equally anchored in sound professional values. With the award, we seek to recognize those alumni, persons who have attended this event for 5 or more years, who embrace, exhibit, and expand our founding values. And tonight, we could not have selected 2 more deserving honorees. To present our first Alumni Award, please welcome a Bea alumni, a retired 4-star general of the United States Air Force, the former commander of the United States Air Force Materiel Command, a 2004 appointee to the President's Commission on Implementation of the Science Exploration Policy, a board member of General Dynamics, and a 2003 Bea Lifetime Achievement Award winner and CEO of the Lyles Group, General Lyle Lester.
Thank you, Joan. The qualifying criteria for the Bea Alumni Award are these. First, to attend this event for 5 or more years and to actively embrace, exhibit, and expand our founding values. Well, that makes presenting this award a very easy task indeed. Let me tell you a story. Around the time that Bob Stevens came to Lockheed Martin, the company had been participating with the Black Engineer Award since 1988. But Bob became the sector head of the Lockheed Martin energy sector, and one of his employees won a Bea Award. Bob decided that he was going to be here to participate in that celebration. From there, he moved up to Chief Financial Officer of Lockheed Martin when Lockheed's participation was expanding in this conference. Bob kept coming. Then he was made President and Chief Operating Officer, and he could have sent sector chiefs to attend, but he did not. He showed up even in the massive snowstorm of a couple of years ago. And now he is President and CEO, but he is here tonight, and he didn't have to be lured here to be here. You see, Bob Stevens has this notion that probably goes back to the days when he was a Marine. A leader has to be accountable and will never, ever let his people suffer or celebrate alone. In Lockheed Martin, they don't just talk diversity, they have created a tool called the Diversity Maturity Model, which measures certain indicators and produces a score to let leaders know that they are doing what has to be done. Bob has that as one of his top initiatives as CEO. That's precisely how you embrace, how you exhibit, and how you expand the values that we espouse, by making inclusion a priority, then impact and measure it. It might be that the engineer thing keeps him coming back. After all, Bob is an engineer. Or it might be there's a fellow of the American Astronautical Society and an associate fellow of the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics. He just likes rubbing elbows with some of our high flyers, and there are many of them here. But if I had to bet, I would guess that the reason Bob Stevens is here is because his people are here, and they are here because of him. That is why it gives me great pleasure to welcome into the circle of Bea alumni the recipient of the 2005 Bea Alumni Association Award, Mr. Robert J. Stevens.
touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. See me running through that open door. I believe I can fly.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. I am truly humbled and more than a little bit surprised to receive this recognition. This is my 6th year of participation in the Black Engineer of the Year celebration, and I'm here because I enjoy being with you, people who have dedicated themselves to excellence and in the process have lifted us all with remarkable stories of achievement. I feel very privileged and very honored to be here in your company. Thank you.
Please welcome the CEO of Career Communications Group and publisher of USBE Magazine, Mr. Tyrone Taborn.
Go. Go.
Thank you. I'm here to introduce a dear friend of mine. And before I actually start with the formal remarks, let me say this. It's been an incredible 3 months where I have traveled a great deal. And this friend, I emailed and said, my family has not seen much of me in 3 months. What can I do? And he counseled me. And one of the things I want to do is recognize my wife, who has given so much of her time to making this possible. And this will be our 20th year of marriage. Jean Hamilton Taborn. Jean, please stand. And thank you, Jean, for being so unselfish in all of our years and allowing me to give so much of me to everyone but you. Bill Swanson is chairman and CEO of the Raytheon Company, one of the most respected companies in the world of defense and government electronics and information technology, and so much more. Raytheon is a company with $20 billion in sales, a team of 80,000 employees, and an incredible engineering and scientific talent bench with a worldwide reach. I've had the pleasure of knowing Bill Swanson a long time. I've written about Bill Swanson. I put him on the cover of U.S. Black Engineer and Information Technology magazine. And I will tell you something about my friend Bill Swanson. He has not always known that he was going to be the chairman and CEO of such a huge corporation. But yet, ever since I have known him, Bill has matched my personal passion and his zeal for inclusion of all people. He is one of the most highly regarded leaders in business today. But it didn't happen after he became CEO and chairman, because Bill knew even before then that inclusion was essential to the future success for his clients and for his company, and it is a part of his human fiber. Bill was Raytheon's first diversity champion, gaining recognition with numerous diversity awards. He is personally the recipient of a Diversity Best Practice CEO Leadership Award. When it comes to the study of math and science, Bill is like a priest, persuading and encouraging young men and young women to study engineering. But get this, under his leadership, this year, Raytheon committed $850,000 to Tuskegee for sponsorships to highly talented students majoring in engineering and computer science. Bill is the co-chair of a major new campaign called something exciting called Mathematics and Science Education of the Business Higher Education Forum. The goal of this forum is to improve student achievement in math and science in this country. Bill Swanson has a true passion for all that he does. His commitment to America, to our men and women in uniform, to his company, to inclusion, and to the advancement of engineering are strong and heartfelt. And that is why it is my heartfelt honor to present this 2005 Bea Alumni Association Award to the chairman and CEO of Raytheon, but wait, to my friend, Bill Swanson.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to my friend Bob Stevens and all the award winners this evening. It is an honor to be here in such good company. General Lyles, wonderful to see you again. And a special thank you to Ty Taborn for your very kind introduction that my mom would thoroughly love and my father would not recognize. On behalf of the 80,000 men and women of Raytheon, we are most honored to be recognized by this organization that means so much to all of us. When Raytheon first participated in Bea some 17 years ago, Bea had just started. And the Raytheon booth at that time, I remember, consisted of a table with a bed sheet that the Hyatt Hotel let us borrow. The Raytheon group back then was a total of 3 people, and the event was attended by a few hundred people. Today, Raytheon has over 60 people at Bea, including one of our presidents who spoke at the Technology Leadership Luncheon yesterday. And Bea today draws as many as 10,000 people. I believe in the vision of this organization. This is my 15th year. When I was in school, I learned firsthand the power of diverse teams and how the influence of that diversity ultimately led to better decisions. As chairman and CEO, I've had the opportunity to help reinforce that point, that inclusiveness leverages the power of diverse teams to innovate and create better customer solutions. Bea has given me the opportunity to meet some unbelievable people. At the top of that list is Ty. I can tell you he cares deeply about inclusiveness and about engineering in America. If it hadn't have been for this organization and the discussions he and I have had over the years, I would have never had the opportunity for his fellowship. My heartfelt congratulations to Ty, to Bea, and all the award winners tonight, and thank you again for this tremendous honor.
The Pioneer Award is reserved for one who has stepped out on faith and gone where few have gone before. To make this year's presentation, we have the daughter of the recipient herself, a very accomplished scientist. She is Vice President for the North American Manufacturing Resource Team, Worldwide Manufacturing and Supply Chain of the Xerox Corporation. Please welcome Ms. Aqua Porter.
When my father graduated from Tennessee State University in 1958, historically black colleges and universities, where most black scientists and engineers trained, didn't have access to multi-billion-dollar research and development budgets of the United States military. At the Air Force Research Lab, he climbed the ladder of success, first becoming a division chief, where he managed millions of dollars in R&D projects and introduced 3 HBCUs to vast military R&D funding. He further rose to Chief of Management Operations, where he headed small business research and technology programs, managed $1 billion and more than 2,000 research scientists and engineers. He mentored 7 more HBCUs, encouraging them to develop research capabilities. Daddy wanted HBCUs to be full-fledged research partners with the military, so he began regional conferences linking the engineering deans with Air Force leaders and taking Air Force Research Lab leaders to visit HBCU engineering schools. This resulted in long-term two-way partnerships. Engineering students and faculty got new research grants and opportunities, while the military gained access to a tremendous infusion of engineering talent that had been overlooked for many years. Nothing gives me greater pleasure than to present this Pioneer Award to the founder and CEO of LPA Inc., my father, Larry Porter.
I grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, in a family of 8 to a single mother. I attended segregated schools with hand-me-down books, but my black teachers would not sell for less than my best. I was not great in math and science, just good, yet they insisted I was going to college. Engineering seemed to be an escape from depths of poverty. But I knew no engineers and wasn't sure what they did. In college, I was introduced to a most fascinating career, engineering, and was told by black professionals. In the end, I went through 4 years of college on less than $1,000 out of pocket. I am deeply grateful to those who taught me how to add extra to ordinary and actions to passion, and to my family who stuck by me over the years and made this night possible.
My mind in awe at the caliber of great people I saw paying tribute to these black engineers. My curiosity was firmly aroused, and I was consumed by the rituals and vows praising equally triumphs of moment and of years. Methought I heard the Spirit say, as she was dancing far away, and at the very end of her last narrative, that these winners here tonight were prime examples in pure delight of something called the excellence imperative. Now you can rest your heart secure that I am not at all demure when I see a slender chance my fate to manage. So I called out to the Spirit once again to let me hear it. How could this excellence imperative give me advantage? Oh, seek ye diligence, said she, as she fixed her gaze on me. It's the first of 5 characters of excellence, each in order you must master, as these winners coming after will embody through the tales of their ascendants. And all adorned in regal blue, the spirit danced a step or two.
You say you never was a fight. Oh no, heaven knows your existence. They want you to be everything you are. Oh, there's a time for every soul to fly. It's in the eyes of every child. It's the hope, the love, to save the world. And oh, you should never let it go. I can see the sky. Yeah. From 100,000 dreams before, now I finally realize. See, I've waited all my life for this moment to arrive. And finally, I believe in the impossible. If I reach deep within my heart, overcome the obstacle. Don't let this dream just fall apart. You see, I strive to be the very best. Shine my light for all to see. 'Cause anything possible when you believe. Dream 100,000 dreams before. Now I finally realize. You see, I've waited all my life for this moment to arrive. And finally, I believe. Oh, I believe. Oh, yeah, I believe in
Oh, the Spirit arrived, and to banish my dread, she placed this wonder song in my head that said, I'm strong when I hold on beyond appearance. Then bringing my mind back to the present, she focused me on the tales of pleasant and warm accounts of more achievers through perseverance.
The Professional Achievement Award is presented to a highly experienced professional, past the career midpoint, who has made significant contributions in a titled position in science, engineering, or technology. The award for professional achievement in a nonprofit industry will be presented by Chairman and CEO of the MITRE Corporation, Mr. Marty Fega.
Dennis Rowe is a lead systems engineer at the MITRE Corporation. He came to MITRE in 1983 when we were involved in the design of the next generation U.S. air traffic control system. In support of this effort, Dennis performed analysis that were used by the FAA to gain congressional approval for the acquisition of new computer equipments. For the past decade, Dennis's research in new airspace designs and concepts has played an increasingly important role in the evolution of the air traffic control system. The FAA used the results of his work to validate the redesign of the high-altitude airspace overlying most of the Midwest and the Northwest portions of the United States. Other research by this achiever resulted in a plan to permit civilian pilots to fly in airspace previously restricted to military use. Dennis developed a model prototype website for information exchange among air traffic controllers, military airspace users, and created ways to measure success. His work in shaping the way aircraft will fly around the country and the world in the 21st century. I am delighted to present this award for professional achievement in the nonprofit industry to Dr. Dennis Rowe.
In elementary school, I was often distracted. When it came to studying and homework, I was the great escape artist. My fifth grade teacher called me the absent-minded professor. One day, my parents bought a large, dark brown, second-hand executive desk for me to sit at and rule over my assignments. I could only go out to play when all my assignments were accomplished. My command over this desk enticed me to return to it every day, establishing a pattern that turned into habit. A habit that improved my study and culminated in a discipline earning me a gold pin for academic excellence. This award proves that the executive desk is still working. And I'm deeply grateful to my parents. Thank you.
This next award, Professional Achievement in Industry, will be presented by the General Motors Vice Chairman for Product Development and Chairman of GM North America, Mr. Robert Lutz.
When most people think of car design, they imagine curving lines, bold colors, or brash sweeping fenders. But I'll tell you, when designers are at work, they have all that to consider and way more. They have to be creative artists, of course, but the successful senior designer also has to be a teacher, a coach, a critic, and a brilliant spokesman for design both within and outside the company. Ed Welburn is a master of all these elements. He began his career at General Motors in 1972 as an associate designer and has had a direct hand in the shaping of GM cars and trucks for 3 decades. His influence has been visible through stints at Oldsmobile, Saturn, and Opel, and many other steps along the way. While at Oldsmobile, Ed sketched the high-performance Aerotech, which set the world speed records in 1987 with A.J. Foyt behind the wheel, records that still stand today. His recent work include the Chevy SSR, the Hummer H2, the Cadillac Escalade, and fuel cell concept vehicles like the GM Autonomy, the Highwire, and the Sequel. Now, Ed is only the 6th person ever to hold the top design post at GM, and it is with great pride that we present this award for professional achievement in industry to the Vice President of Design for General Motors North America and GM's global design leader, Ed Welburn.
Well, thank you, Bob. And I've been passionate about designing cars since I was 2 years old. My mother would often leave her books lying around when she came back. They would be covered with my designs. I'd sketch all over them. Today, she said she was delighted with that. My dad owned an auto repair shop in Philadelphia, and by the time I was 10 years old, I was drawing cars with him to what I thought were perfect proportions. So when I turned 11 years old, I wrote General Motors about a career in design, and they gave me guidance that brought me to Howard University. When I graduated from Howard University's School of Design, I called GM. Today, every time I meet a young person with passion, I remember those who encouraged me. And I talk with them until I see that same look in their eyes, that same light up that I had as I was coming along. So, I thank you very much for this very special award.
Professional achievement in government recognizes those who often sacrifice for the duty and honor of serving their country. The United States Navy's Military Sealift Command has a fleet of over 120 ships that provide operational logistics support, strategic sealift, and ocean transportation for all United States military forces worldwide. To present the award for professional achievement in government, please welcome the Commander of Military Sealift Command, Vice Admiral David Brewer III.
Captain Glenn Flanagan began his Navy career aboard the nuclear cruiser South Carolina and then the nuclear carrier Nimitz, patrolling the Indian Ocean and the Mediterranean. He completed a master's degree at Auburn University and was assigned to the Persian Gulf on the missile frigate Halliburton to keep sea lanes open during the Iran-Iraq War. 2 years later, Glenn was executive officer on the nuclear cruiser Virginia to support Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm. He attended the National War College before taking command of the missile frigate Elrod in 1996 and promptly sailed back to the Gulf, where his ship won awards for battle efficiency and intelligence collection. On his next sea tour as reactor officer aboard the nuclear-powered aircraft carrier Theodore Roosevelt, he led 30 officers and 400 sailors supporting power and propulsion demands aboard a ship carrying more than 100 warplanes and 4,000 sailors and Marines. Captain Flanagan's command was as skipper of the cruiser Monterey, deploying with the George Washington Battle Group and winning more awards in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. It gives me great pleasure to present this award for professional achievement in government to Glenn Flanagan, Captain, United States Navy.
In 7th grade, I liberated enough chlorine gas in a science experiment to empty the classroom and most of the second floor. A family friend at the University of Chicago heard of this antic and said, "Get him into every math and science class ever created." Those words of wisdom were my ticket to the Naval Academy. At service selection, I entered into a lively debate with Admiral Hyman G. Rickover, the father of the nuclear submarine. We debated football, studying, and performance. I might add that it was a one-sided debate, but when the dust settled, I began my career operating Navy nuclear power plants and driving combat ships. Looking back on how all this got started, I blame my parents for setting the bar of excellence so high. To them, I am very, very grateful, and I thank you all.
Now the spirit emerges in red, stimulating cravings in my head and urges of wonder to learn of character 4. A deep sensation expends me as the spirit through dance attends me, and these intrepid tales set my heart aglow. There is something to this notion that desire can move an ocean, and all brave souls who let their feelings flow. This is passion pure, simple and pure. Then the dancing spirit's message sure that excellence results when the inner fires glow. But I've been told there is no place in the business sector of the human race to wear your feelings on your sleeve in wimp-like fashion. But spirit and the next winners all affirm that the fire of excellence can never burn unless your every effort is endowed complete with passion.
The first award for career achievement in industry will be presented by F. Suzanne Genesis, Vice President and General Manager for Government Systems Division, Northrop Grumman Corporation. Ms. Genesis.
Good evening. Career achievement is recognized among science, engineering, and technology professionals making contributions over the course of a career with successive triumphs over obstacles. Shanetta Davis, Vice President for Norton Systems at Northrop Grumman Corporation, is a perfect role model of a person who has continually excelled. She currently leads the company in reinvigorating the manufacture of antenna radar circuitry, and Norton is a center of excellence in magnetics and transmitters. Teams under her responsibility are responsible for renowned systems such as Joint Surveillance Target Attack Radar and the Multi-Platform Radar Technology Insertion Program. Shanetta is very versatile. Earlier in her career, as the Cold War ended, defense contractors were looking to sell dual-use products into the civilian market. Shanetta was a groundbreaker in adapting military specifications standards for cost-competitive civilian markets. Beginning with a contract to Americanize and manufacture a German-designed mail sorting equipment, she used defense technology and processes to meet the United States Postal Service very rigorous quality needs and very strict cost constraints, ultimately building a whole new business for Northrop Grumman worth hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Having worked arm in arm with Shanetta for 25 years, it gives me great pleasure to present this Black Engineer of the Year Award for Career Achievement in Industry to Shanetta Davis.
I've always loved the challenge of math and the mystery of science. Both of my parents were math majors, and their love for it inspired me. I dreamed of becoming a mathematician. In 5th grade, I was in one of the first integrated schools on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, where my new teacher chose to accentuate my sewing skills and suppress my math ones. She had never encountered a dream so keenly coveted. Her resistance, like others throughout my career, taught me to strive passionately for my dream. I am deeply grateful for a family of impassioned dream weavers who have helped and supported me. Thank you.
Another Career Achievement in Industry honor is conferred by the former Chief of Naval Operations and now President and CEO of Dominion Delivery, Admiral J. Johnson, United States Navy, retired.
In 1985, Dominion identified a future star. We recognized true talent and leadership potential in a college student from rural North Carolina and hired him as an engineering intern. 20 years later, his peers have confirmed our intuition. Craig Ivey is Vice President for Electric Operations at Dominion, a Fortune 200 company that produces natural gas and electric power. Among his many career achievements, Craig played a key role in Dominion's preparation for and response to Hurricane Isabel in September 2003. With more than 5 million people in the dark, Craig maintained a quiet confidence and clear focus while overseeing a restoration effort that is now the envy of our industry. At Dominion, Craig is credited with engendering a relationship of trust and mutual understanding between labor and management. He has changed Dominion's culture by redefining our union relationships. Throughout Dominion, from chairman to the lineman, Craig is revered by everyone he encounters. A richly talented engineer, a gifted leader, a role model, Dominion has gained greatly from his talents over the last 2 decades. I'm honored to present this award for Career Achievement in Industry to my friend and co-worker, Craig Ivey.
I grew up in a place where poverty, racism, and despair were apparent at every turn. Lots of mothers, few fathers. In Ida Ivey's house, equally obvious was the expectation that you not only rise above, but also create a beacon for those who follow. Beacons aren't perfect or flashy. They are solid, steady, always there. They help steer others where their skies are clear or stormy. They even shine brightly when no one is paying attention. Success is more about the example you create for others than what you achieve for yourself. I accept this award in memory of my mother, who continues to be a guiding light in my life. Thank you.
To present the first of 2 awards for career achievement in government, please welcome the Deputy Director of the John F. Kennedy Space Center of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, and the 1989 winner of the Black Engineer of the Year Career Achievement in Government Award, Mr. Woodrow Whitlow, Jr.
Dr. Isaiah Blankson earned bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees in aeronautics and astronautics at MIT and took many career turns before arriving at NASA. For his PhD thesis, he designed reentry decoys for intercontinental ballistic missiles. He began his professional career as a senior scientist at Xerox's Webster Research Center, where he investigated how the interaction of electric fields, air, and toner particles affect inkjet printing. Then it was on to General Electric's Global Research Center at Schenectady, where as an aerospace scientist, he designed magnetic systems for launching small projectiles at 25 times the speed of sound. Then finally, he arrived at NASA, where he's a senior scientist technologist, the highest rank that can be achieved by the non-supervisory technical staff. These days, he investigates how charged plasmas affect the performance of supersonic and hypersonic aircraft. This has importance in controlling missile flight and improving rapid response time. In 2004, Dr. Blankson was issued a patent for discovering a process that allows air-breathing jet engines to operate at Mach 7, or speeds that will take us from Baltimore to San Francisco in 30 minutes. It gives me great pleasure to present this award for career achievement in government to my good friend, Dr. Isaiah M. Blankson.
As a boy growing up in Ghana, my parents instilled in me a love of learning. I was particularly fascinated by books about airplanes. I wondered how 100-ton machines could lift up and fly away to faraway places. This curiosity fueled my enthusiasm and my passion for aeronautical engineering. But this profession wasn't available at home, and it was too expensive overseas. Two needs became instantly clear: a scholarship to study abroad and the finances. The U.S. scholarship program was unavailable, but the embassy still offered the SAT. This was my small, slim chance. When the scholarship program reopened, I took the airplane ride of my life, from Africa to MIT. I'm grateful to my parents for the stability and confidence to pursue a faraway dream. Thank you.
The Associate Deputy Assistant Secretary of the United States Air Force for Science, Engineering, and Technology will present another award for career achievement in government. Please welcome Mr. Terry Jaggers.
Dr. Stanley Rogers graduated at the top of his electrical engineering class in 1985 and was commissioned directly into the active duty United States Air Force. In uniform, Stanley managed programs valued at $75 million for the Air Force's top fighter, the F-15E. He also managed $12 million worth of nuclear and conventional weapons programs. He left the Air Force and joined Corning, where he worked to boost the capabilities of optical fibers in data transmission. But he kept his commission in the Air Force Reserve and now holds the rank of major. At the Air Force Research Lab at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, Stanley is a master innovator in the use of microelectronic machines that control the bend in mirrors to bypass optical hurdles in focusing laser beams. Dr. Rogers completed his doctorate in electro-optical engineering at the University of Dayton, where he now serves as adjunct professor and is the sole academic advisor for 200 undergraduate electrical engineering majors. At Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Dr. Rogers is a prime mover behind Right Step, a mentoring, motivational, and tutoring program promoting science education for inner-city youth. It is an honor to present this Career Achievement in Government Award to Dr. Stanley Rogers.
When I was young, I spent my summer vacations working in tobacco fields while my friends told adventure stories of trips to Disneyland. I've dreamed of being an engineer so I could bring my grandparents' outhouse indoors. I often wondered why my fortune was so ill-fated. Then my parents told me how they had borrowed money just to get by so I could have better. and how I was squandering by failure God's great opportunity for success. You see, I was getting D's and F's. Then they said right living is in the formula: believe, commit, and persist. That faith-based prescription is why I stand here tonight with such pride, love, and gratitude for my family. Thank you.
Let's see. The Spirit's green message is firm and clear, that the road to excellence has no peer. It never ends, it never falters, it never wanes. If I'm diligent at the start and deeply committed from my heart, I can persevere beyond the tears, the toils, and the pain. When my passion for work starts glowing and I see visions beyond all knowing, I'll get a brief glimpse into a bliss of exclusivity. That, said Spirit, is when barriers diminish and the road to excellence is very near finish, when you arrive at the realm of creativity.
The President's Award is given to an individual who has shown exceptional facility in negotiating ceilings through a heightened sense of purpose, mission, and direction. The Senior Vice President of Design at the Daimler Chrysler Corporation is here to present this President's Award for exceptional achievement. Please welcome Mr. Trevor Creed.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ralph Scheel is the Director of Exterior and Interior Design at the Daimler Chrysler Corporation. I am told that when he was growing up, he would spend summers in New York with an aunt who sent his car drawings to Lee Iacocca, then Chrysler chairman, who forwarded them on to the design office, advising her to send Ralph to design school. Well, after a detour to study engineering in Montreal, where he lived, Ralph attended the College of Creative Studies in Detroit, where I first met him and made the decision to hire him in 1992, the year that he graduated. Ralph designed the interiors for the Viper GTSR, the Dodge ESX2 concept vehicle, and the Jeep Jeepster concept. He was the chief designer on the 2003 Viper and Jeep Liberty, but his biggest coup has been as director of the team responsible for the Chrysler 300C, the Dodge Magnum, and the Dodge Charger. Time magazine called him the king of bling. For a car that has captured the imagination of the hip-hop community, including Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, and of late, Chingy. Motor Trend magazine named it 2005 Car of the Year, and I quote, "Few cars we've driven have received such pan-generational, pan-cultural approval." Ralph has already been inducted into the Automotive Hall of Fame for his leadership and his future potential in our industry. It gives me great pride to present this Black Engineer of the Year President's Award to Mr. Ralph Scheel.
I always loved to draw cars, but I never thought I could make a career of it. I studied engineering in college, but soon dropped out, unlike you guys here. I was working as a stock boy at a hardware store when my brother broke away from his medical studies and went to CCS School of Design, just a few hours north of Cleveland. When I saw the pictures of the students he brought back, the artwork, I knew that is what I wanted to do. My brother stayed up for a week while I put together a portfolio. I was accepted and on my way to a career in car design. My brother's love, leadership, and support started it all. Thanks, Max. Take care.
Entrepreneur means success in business creativity. It honors those who have successfully grown a profitable engineering business in a highly competitive world. Here, to present the award for Entrepreneur of the Year, is the former commander of the United States Army Materiel Command, and now the President and Chief Operating Officer for Dimensions International, and winner of the Black Engineer of the Year Lifetime Achievement Award, General Johnny Wilson, United States Army, retired.
Good evening. I have the pleasure and honor of presenting this year's Black Engineer Entrepreneur of the Year Award, a young man seasoned beyond his years, and one who has consistently exhibited the qualities all parents desire in our youth: intelligent, compassionate, respectful, competent, and an unwavering commitment to excellence in all that he undertakes. Today, he owns and serves as chairman and CEO of a $140 million firm named Dimensions International, a firm of about 1,000 people providing information technology, integrated logistics, and sensor engineering services to customers around the world. Now, his father, Dr. Robert Wright, founded Dimensions International in 1985 and began preparing his son for the helm early on. Russell worked his way throughout the various operating units, becoming thoroughly familiar with all facets of the firm, winning praise from all members of the management team. And as a result, his mother and father, without hesitation, realized the inevitable. Russell was ready. And 18 months after assuming control, Russ has doubled the size of Dimensions, winning several honors along the way. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my personal pleasure to present the 2005 Black Engineer Entrepreneur of the Year, Russell T. Wright.
When I left home to go to Morehouse College, I was on top of the world. But after the second semester of my freshman year, and of course after taking all my classes at Spelman College, I found myself at academic probation, actually. So, of course, I went home on pins and needles. And when the mailman finally showed up in August to tell my parents that I was on academic probation, I knew we'd have to sit down. And so my father said to my mother, "Well, I don't think your son is very smart." My mother somewhat agreed, but said, "I think there may be something else." And my father said, I think I know. I think he hadn't dedicated himself to his cause." And so I say to you tonight that whatever achievements you want to achieve, stay dedicated to your cause. I'd like to thank my parents, Bob and June Wright. I'd like to thank my wife, Naomi, and the whole Dimensions International family for this award. Thank you.
To present the Lifetime Achievement Award, welcome the Vice President of Engineering, Space, and Intelligence Systems for the Boeing Company, Mr. Charles Toops.
Clark Johnson is a chemist by training, and much of his work happens under the cloak of secrecy. What we can say is that he's involved with, among other things, investigating the effects of heat on the stability of sensing platforms for military surveillance and the targeting of threats from orbit. But some of his work is highly visible. Clark was responsible for formulating thermal protection materials for the space shuttle and for commercial jet engines. His career has taken him through Lockheed Martin and Rockwell International before bringing him to Boeing. Under a NASA contract, Clark managed the qualification of the Space Shuttle Thermal Protection Kit designed to repair damaged orbital tiles in space. Today, he is a systems engineering project manager for national security programs at Boeing's Satellite Systems Division. He serves on the National Research Council's Program Committee, developing and testing technology for the reusable launch vehicle. One result of his investigations was the approval of the X-33 program. 2 years ago, Clark Johnson was elected to head the International Society for the Advancement of Materials and Processes, a prestigious engineering society. I am delighted to present this award for outstanding lifetime achievement to Clark Johnson.
When I was growing up, my Aunt Helen was my middle school teacher and also my inspiration. No matter what happened, she never gave up on me. When I graduated from high school, I was not financially ready for college, so I applied for a welding job at Rockwell International. Vision problems scuttled that pursuit, but I didn't give up. I became a hotel dishwasher where I saved enough money for one semester in college, so I enrolled at Grambling University. There I discovered a work-study program in the chemistry department and pounced upon it immediately. Upon graduation with a degree in chemistry, Rockwell International recruited me to work in the aerospace engineering organization. I am deeply grateful to my wife, Sharon, and my family for helping me to never give up. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President and Chief Executive Officer of Lockheed Martin Corporation, Mr. Robert Stevens.
A few weeks ago, we all witnessed a sensational event, the arrival of the Cassini-Huygens space probe on Titan, one of the moons of Jupiter, after a journey of more than 7 years and a distance of more than 1 billion miles. During a 2-hour descent and 3 hours on the surface, the Huygens probe sent back sensational pictures of that distant and shrouded world. The pictures were vivid and beautiful, far surpassing what most of us thought even possible. And for just a moment, I was transported back to the Apollo moon landings of 35 years ago. Many of us in this audience are old enough to have witnessed those landings on live TV, and we found ourselves completely absorbed in the experience. Yet those who were responsible for such achievements seem so remote. Happily, that is not the case this evening. On this stage tonight, we've met people directly engaged in breathtaking scientific achievement. Their explorations are advancing pursuits in outer space, under the sea, within the human body, and even in our everyday encounters on the roads, the rails, and in the air. We cannot predict with any certainty where our honorees will be in 10 years, but the possibilities that lie on the horizons that they are developing are absolutely staggering. So take a good look at tonight's honorees. Talk to them. Get to know them, because you will be hearing from them again. The Black Engineer of the Year ceremony gives us a brief glimpse into how the pursuit of excellence moves all of us forward into unimaginable realms. Excellence is at the heart of invention, and its passion burns in our soul and is embodied in the pageant of the Black Engineer.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former Secretary of the United States Department of Transportation and now partner with Patton Boggs, LLP, Attorneys at Law, the Honorable Rodney Slater.
To do your job so well that neither the living, the dead, nor the yet unborn could do it better. Such has been the challenge and the mission of our next award recipient. It is truly my honor to be here tonight, yes, to join all of you in recognizing all who have come, all who have dedicated themselves to seizing the excellence imperative. Bill Smith, a dear friend, is such a person as well. And it is an honor for me to be here, to join you in recognizing him in the fashion that we do tonight. It is also a double honor to do so while presenting him the top award, this top award that is connected so closely to the word excellence. For that is precisely how I see Bill's career. Allow me to underscore but a few highlights. Bill's road to excellence began at North Carolina A&T State University, one of the historically black colleges and universities, where he trained to become an electrical engineer. He was also in the ROTC Air Force Officers Corps, and he interned at IBM. Upon graduation and redeeming his military obligation, Bill apprenticed at firms like Kaiser Aluminum, Bechtel Corporation, in a variety of diverse assignments. Mining projects in Indonesia, copper refining in the America Southwest, iron mining in Brazil, ore crushing in Chile, and rock quarry operations in California. It seems that from the start, Bill's climb to the top actually began by digging deep. Digging deep. For he understood early on that you cannot judge the value of a diamond by looking at its tip. You have to unearth it and then polish it. And so has been the work of his career, to unearth and polish not only his own talents and abilities, but to serve as a wonderful example for others as well. And then, leadership. Well, his leadership positions have taken him around the world. And in doing so, Bill has often been the first Black American engineer that some of those overseas will have ever seen. But not only did he go there to work, he would go places to understand, to learn the language, to become grounded in the culture, so as to use the language and the culture to inspire and to lift. A true leader who would understand what he knew, but who would also understand the importance of continuing to learn. He would seek to help those understand that he would see their work as a joy and not a job. And so when he came to Parsons Brinckerhoff in 1988 as a chief engineer of the FMC Power Group, they welcomed him with open arms. The CEO of PB became his mentor and helped him to lay out the path that he would take to become a member of the executive team. His projects also increased in size to match the size of his dreams. Oh, and yes, they were big dreams. For he believed, as has been said, that once the mind reaches forth to embrace a new idea, it can never, ever return to its former state. So he allowed his mind to reach forth, recognizing that every great accomplishment was first and for a period of time only a dream. PB gave him the big projects to match his big dreams, and he came through in a big way. He began managing power projects at the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratories, the University of California at Davis, the Beale Air Force Base. He led power development for the Sealed Environment Research Project near Phoenix, Arizona, called the Biosphere 2, and then became chief engineer of the world-renowned Superconducting Super Collider project. When that project was canceled by Congress, Bill developed the Texas-based Power Engineering Office of PB and became Texas Area Manager for PB Facilities Services. In 1996, he moved to Area Manager for the San Francisco and Oakland offices, with full responsibility for a technical staff serving more than 40 public agency clients, including the Bay Area Rapid Transit District. Well, his climb continued to build on that strong foundation that began with those first jobs when he was just digging and laying the foundation that he would use to build from strength to strength. And his climb continued in a very interesting way. You see, where others would be looking for bridges to cross, Bill was looking for bridges to build. He found one, the east span of the San Francisco Oakland Bay Bridge that had been damaged by an earthquake, and he and his team rebuilt it. He built light rail systems. He widened highways. He extended rapid transit systems there in San Francisco, especially the one to the airport. So it would not be wrong to say that Bill repaired burned or downed bridges, and that he built on the high road, and that he extended that midnight train not to Georgia, but to the airport. And that is how he has come to where he is tonight. So let me then just say that Bill has recognized from the very beginning, that much is required of those to whom much is given. From the very beginning, that we are all required to do our job so well that neither the living, the dead, nor the yet unborn could do it better. Bill Smith today is the president of Parsons Brinkerhoff, Quaid, and Douglas, a transport infrastructure arm of the oldest and largest and most respectable engineering consulting company in the United States. It is a company, the one that he runs, of over 3,000 employees handling some 1,700 projects, ranging in size from $50,000 to $14 billion, and earning for the company some $680 million in annual revenues. Ladies and gentlemen, before we meet the one tonight who we give honor to because of the honor he has given to all of us through his service, let us hear from the old storyteller.
Yadkin County is located in the foothills of North Carolina. The Blue Ridge Mountains serve as a distant backdrop for the gently rolling landscape that is Yadkin Valley. The county takes its name from the Yadkin River, which serves as its northern and eastern boundaries. Since it was founded in 1850, Yadkin has been comprised of farming communities. While the population is growing, there are still many open spaces and woodlands. Old farmhouses still dot the countryside along with the new housing developments. Historical landmarks recall times gone by, and the two interstate highways prophesy possibilities of the future. And this is the fertile soil that nurtured Bill Smith. Oh, he was born in the mid-40s of the oldest of the 9 children born to Mary Pauline and Sherwood Smith. He was a rather shy, asthmatic lad growing up, which was probably accounts for his love of books. See, he's an avid but eccentric reader. Prefers math and science books to fiction. He says, I like books that make me think about the world we live in. We don't know for certain how Bill Smith came to be who he is. All we can really say is that it is obvious that he was nurtured to success. He had extended family aplenty living in around his neighborhood, and for 3 of his formative years, he was cultivated in the home of his doting grandparents. They put him in touch with the imperative of his roots. 9 children growing up in a country home run by a no-nonsense matriarch and a harmonica-playing blues man, your values are planted true and firm. And throw in an occasional Heath kit for good measure, and give a growing boy access to some pliers and a vacuum tube radio set, And what he doesn't blow up, he's bound to learn. This is Bill's story. So at the age of 13, he told his mother, I'm going to be an electrical engineer. She probably said, that's great, baby, after you clean up that mess you made. But she never, ever said he couldn't. Even at times when Bill's tinkering blew the house lights out, he was told not to find a way not to do that again, but not to stop his tinkering. Oh, that is probably why and when he became so mesmerized by electrical power. It also might explain why Mrs. Anderson, his third grade teacher, kept telling him he had to focus. But he never really did, except in one area. The thought of becoming an electrical engineer was the only career on his radar screen. At one time, Bill was the only black student at the R.J. Reynolds College Preparatory School. It was a time of race consciousness, but he was never affected by it. He believed, as he was told, that race is like the air you breathe. It's always there, so you might as well inhale it and let it work for you and not against you. He yearned to attend Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute for his electrical engineering degree, which he knew he was going to get. But the money was low, so he settled for North Carolina A&T. At a time when it was growing students like Jesse Jackson, Ron McNair, the astronaut. It was in this same fertile soil that Bill Smith was reared. Windsor Alexander, now the Dean of Engineering at UNC, was a fellow student of Bill's at A&T and a math whiz. Windsor would frequently enchant fellow students struggling over a complex formula by working it out in his head in front of them. Now, for the uninspired, this might have been intimidating and turned them away from their aim, but Bill is not made of such ordinary stuff. He took the enchantment as motivation, and although he struggled through college, he graduated and now is proud to place that PE for a registered professional engineer behind his name. Bill Smith loves to give back that which he's earned and learned. For the earning, he is a model to be emulated. For the learning, the philosophy that brought him here is as relevant today and to all of us as it was to him in his youth. He was told repeatedly that you are a gift to the world, sent forth into the wilderness with all the tools you need to conquer it. And if you should ever doubt it, remember this: there's no such thing as bad weather, just inappropriate clothing. For these reasons and more, it is our delight to join with the Honorable Secretary Rodney Slater in presenting to you the Black Engineer of the Year for 2005, Mr. William D. Smith.
Simply the best, better than all the rest, better than anyone I ever met. Oh, you're simply the best, better than all the rest, better than anyone I ever met. Oh, you're simply the best.
Thank you very much. Before I open my remarks here, I'd like to say that Bill Grimmett is quite a storyteller. Thank you, Rodney, for your resolute support and for being here to share this moment with me and my family. I want to open this by thanking my wife, Sharon, my brothers and sisters, two of whom are here tonight, James and Sharon, and my son and nephew, who are both here. I also want to thank my extended family, because there have been a lot of people who've helped me do the things that I do. That includes my family from Parsons Brinkerhoff as well. This is the support team, which has helped me to build this career. I'm very honored to receive this award. I learned of its existence only recently, and I'm very gratified to have done so, because it means that the word is out. It's getting out into the world that, like all other engineers, African Americans are in pursuit of excellence, and that is the force that can break down any barrier to success. Tonight's theme Seizing the Excellence Imperative, is very provocative. It reminds me of when I was growing up in North Carolina. I was fascinated by electricity, as Bill has stated, and I was mesmerized by how all that power flowed. When you couldn't see it, you could feel it. But only when you came in contact with it. But you know, it was there working in the background, because when the right contact was made, something was always going to happen. That is about how I see the excellence imperative. A success potential waiting in the background, ready to unleash its mighty power when the right connection is made. My mother used to always tell us that we could never get ahead by being as good as. You had to be better than. Now, she was talking about performance, not status, and not what you have. And although I might have shrugged it off at the time, as most teenagers would, her constant reminder and admonition became one of my imperatives, a silent but sure current running in the background until I made the right connections. Another excellence imperative is to always work towards the greater good. I believe it is vital that each of us do some good in this world. There is a lot of room in the notion of doing good to cover what each of us can do every day to make a contribution. Doing good can include running a company, such as the one that I am leading. In that context, I can do good by creating the environment wherein we deliver quality, highly valued engineering solutions to our customers' problems, provide professional opportunity for our employees, and make lots of money for our shareholders. I particularly believe in the importance of caring for the people in our company, bringing them up, developing their technical excellence, letting loose what I call the true believers, those who have the passion for doing good, who have great ideas for the company's future. Doing good must extend into the community. I've always believed in the idea that community involvement is important for an organization as well as the individual. Engineering excellence demands that we solve technical problems, but bring more than our technical solutions to those problems, because the problems are greater than the technical solutions that we can offer to correct. It's the social concerns that our clients encounter throughout a project's life that we can help them to solve, all while maintaining a strong focus on our community. I also firmly believe, though, that it's important to have fun. Without a little fun, what's the point of it all? And I've always told the people that work with me that there are three things that are very important: do some good, make some money, and have some fun. I've enjoyed hearing the stories of all the wonderful accomplishments of the people recognized here tonight, and I'm humbled to be honored with this award, and truly appreciate all the people who've helped me along in my life. May we all go forward from this moment inspired to seize the excellence imperative. Thank you very much.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone I ever met. Oh, you're simply the best. Better than all the rest.
had the strangest dream last night that I was standing in this light on a stage before a throng of black engineers. And there this spirit in golden draping showed me a world quite ripe for taking, the very moment I take control of all my fears. Then she touched my heart with songs, saying that I'd possessed all along the qualities that produce career longevity. As she pointed to this black engineer, she said, he won the trophy of the year just for seeing excellence as an imperative.